let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kevin.
And this is John.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, guys.
We're joined once again by Sam to talk more about Point Break.
We are honored.
Hello, everybody.
What up, Sam? So you, aside from myself, you're the biggest Point Break fan I know. Like, do you remember where you found this movie, how it came on your radar?
That's a great question. I don't. I know it was probably me going to Blockbuster and grabbing it when I was a kid.
Okay, so you were renting a lot?
Oh, I went to town. Probably a 20-second sidebar story. I was born in Europe, Bulgaria, moved to Chicago when I was 11, so didn't really speak English, whatever. Still remember to this day, the first movie I rented from Blockbuster was A View to a Kill, the last Roger Moore James Bond. Yeah. So I got hooked on Blockbuster and just, I'm sure it was in that era, like mid-90s.
Nice. I think I watched it on like WATL. I don't think it was like a heavy rotation on TBS or TNT, but it was on one of the other channels, like on a pretty regular basis.
It is one of the, we mentioned this earlier, and I'm sure we're going to mention it again, but it's one of the first movies where you actually do root for the bad guy.
Yeah,
totally.
What about you, John?
It would have had to have been on cable, like growing up, like 2, 5, or 11, as we call them here, growing up, like Fox, WATL.
Yeah, it was on one of those channels, right? I think it was on channel 36.
And then I don't think that I saw the full uncut version until like high school, probably.
Yeah, I think I bought it on VHS, and then of course I had to get the DVD. Like when I was building out a DVD collection, it's like essential.
You wonder why regular TV's dying, because they're not showing more Point Break and movies like that.
Exactly.
Remember when you used to just gotta sit down at home after school or after work, whatever, you turn on TNT and there's just like one of those classic movies, and you're like, you just got hooked, right?
TBS or TNT or WGN or like USA on the weekends.
Absolutely.
Just watch those movies.
Put it on repeat, and people are gonna watch.
They will. We are living proof.
Where we last left off,
Utah and Tyler just finished surf lessons for the day.
Right.
Utah has admired Bodhi from afar. Bodhi's crew is starting to throw a football around on the beach, which is apparently the same beach that they played soccer in Karate Kid.
Oh, hell yeah. That's like one of my favorite movies, but that's like they shoot a lot of stuff on that one beach in Malibu.
Yeah, but it's kind of awesome. You're waiting for Johnny to show up with his motorcycle and throw the stereo at Daniel. Anyway,
I don't picture these guys as like a football playing crew. But I think it's still
they're
cool.
Tough, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they tried everything at one point or another.
Yeah.
I kind of like that they're football. I mean, we'll get into more of it, but I like that they like football. Anyway, Bodhi sneaks up behind Tyler. He sort of looks at Utah. You can see Patrick Swayze in the background, like telling him, don't tell. And he like grabs her and kisses her. And we're immediately sort of clued in that they've had a relationship in the past.
Yeah. And Utah seems a little uncomfortable because I guess he had his eye on her beyond just using her as a contact or whatever.
Beyond lying to her.
Yeah, true.
and just knowing that she was with Bodhi, it just shows you that this character is about to play a huge role. I mean, this guy is,
because he kind of takes her and he's like, so what's up? You replaced me? Who's this guy?
Exactly.
You know, and then he's like, I really like his surfboard or something.
He mocks his surfboard.
He mocks. He's like, yeah, that's a surfboard. All right. And it reminds me of a 57 Chevy.
And the way everybody talks about him and the way people look at him, you can tell he's kind of like the gang leader, right? He's
clearly. Yeah.
Top dog.
He's like the alpha on the beach or whatever.
Yeah, someone in the gang lobs a football in their direction, and Johnny adroitly plucks it out of the air, which impresses the shit out of Bodhi, apparently. That one catch, he was like,
nice catch.
He's like, nice catch.
Wait, before we move too far along from Bodhi getting like handsy on Tyler, how long ago do you think they were dating? Like how far in the past?
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, a year max.
Yeah. Okay, so
Recent.
it's not very recent.
For him to use language like you replaced me, I think it has to be within recent memory.
I also feel their type of relationship was on and off, and at this point it was off, and it's probably going to be on again at some point.
At least in Bodhi's mind, or both?
Both. Like, let's say Johnny didn't show up.
He seems like that dude who...
He's fluid, man.
But remember, he leaves at the end of every summer. He's off somewhere else. So do you think they were hooked up last summer?
Exactly. And in both their minds, they probably thought that maybe...
They probably see each other around this summer, but I bet it was last year. Now that I think about it. Or I guess it could have been at the very beginning of the summer. But he's been busy robbing banks, too, so who knows?
Well,
we don't know that.
Oh, you're right. Not yet.
That's true.
Spoiler.
But yeah, so they like his football style, and they invite him to join their game.
And the game is fucking awesome. Bodhi and Utah are named their respective teams' quarterbacks.
Of course.
Not surprising. I didn't realize Keanu was a southpaw.
Yeah.
He's a lefty.
He's still a lefty, yeah. Not very, his mechanics don't look great.
Well, I mean, he worked with some UCLA football
They said it was
coaches.
like Jim Neuheisel,
that's cool.
coached him up on the set or whatever. Yeah, it's cool.
It could have looked a lot worse. It could have looked like me, like a baby deer just born, like walking around.
And remember, again, the Rose Bowl used to be a big, big deal.
Oh, it was the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, this era, early 90s, it still was what it used to be. Yeah.
So at one point in the game, like they're going back and forth, Bodhi tackles the shit out of Johnny. It's kind of a rough welcome.
He sacks him a little bit. Yeah.
And I don't know, kind of.
I think both liked it.
He gave him a little extra at the end.
But I think both liked it in their own way.
I think they're sort of both a couple of
like
alpha
Johnny.
dogs.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Right. Especially, Utah's used to being like at least the
best
number
guy
one
on the
football field.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And then just like the next play or a couple plays later, Bodhi gets the ball and Johnny lays out like what, 5 guys?
He is leveling these dudes to chase down Bodhi. He's dropping Roach and whoever else was in his way.
And he tackles him into the waves. Yeah. Apparently way out of the field of play.
Well, I feel like he saved the game with that tackle, though. I feel like that was for the game.
I think it was pretty just money that it was into the water, too. It definitely woke up Bodhi.
And reminiscent of things to come between the two of them.
They get up, the energy is crackling. They're staring each other down.
His crew is pissed as well, like Bodhi's crew.
Roach is like, don't you think that was kind of out of line?
I love Roach. And that's when Bodhi's like, what, dude, guy, whoa, don't you know who this is? And they're like, no, I don't know who this is. He's like, this is Johnny Utah, quarterback, Ohio State.
Number 9.
I guess they would know. I mean, they're fans.
You know what the weird thing is that in a way the movie's trying to make it, or the writers are trying to make it as if Bodhi knows who Johnny Utah is even before anybody knows.
Do you think he knew? We were talking about this. Did he know from the moment he saw him, or only once he saw him play some football?
But that's the thing. I don't. He probably didn't. No. The fact that he may have known that he's an undercover agent and was playing a game from the very beginning.
I can't see that.
No, it's not that was fact. I think the way they directed the scenes, I think they want you to always feel uncomfortable with what does he know, what does he not know.
There's something a little mystical about Bodhi.
It's almost like Bodhi is on top of everything, right? So you have no idea what Bodhi knows about the FBI and what he doesn't know about the FBI. Now, again, I'm giving him a little too much credit here, but I'm just saying, what do the writers actually want you to believe at that point? They want you to be a little uncomfortable.
I do think he's that guy who can peer into your soul.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we get a little exposition via story.
I love where Roach, I can't leave this without where he says, this is Johnny Utah, blah, blah. And he's like, Johnny fucking Utah, sorry, man, didn't mean to get in your face. He's so cool all of a sudden.
It's totally okay that you laid Bodhi out before.
As long as you're Johnny Utah, it's cool that you took Bodhi out. I just love that. Oh, sorry, man, didn't mean to get in your face. He's so chill about it immediately. He's a born follower of Roach.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever Bodhi says. Yeah, whatever Bodhi says, that's how we're going to do it.
Exactly. So we learned that Johnny Utah was the hero of the Rose Bowl for Ohio State until he blew out his knee in the fourth quarter and had to quit football. Missed his window to go pro. Apparently.
Yeah, which nowadays that wouldn't really end the guy's career.
No.
But he says it was 2 years of surgeries.
Do you think his character in The Replacements was based on Johnny Utah?
I've never seen that, but in The Replacements he was an Ohio State quarterback, right? I think it was even Ohio State.
Was he?
Someone said that. I've never seen The Replacements.
That movie's good.
Is it?
Good.
Is that the one with Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a great movie.
It's really good.
I miss Gene Hackman. I think he's retired from acting now.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
He's old, man.
He's always
pushing
so
90.
good.
He's pushing 90.
He's up there.
He was old during Unforgiven, and that was almost 30 years ago. One of the best movies ever.
Amazing.
Okay.
Utah lies, says he went to law school after football. And
This is where at least it's valuable that he didn't give him a fake name earlier.
Right, exactly.
Like, because now if he had told him like he was Johnny Nevada, then they'd have been like, no, dude, you're Johnny Utah.
Johnny
And he's
Rhode
busted.
Island.
Johnny Rhode Island.
So by the end of this scene, it's safe to say that he's been accepted,
Yeah.
at least preliminarily, into the tribe.
And I think it's like Nathaniel maybe is like, lawyers don't surf. And like little did he know how right he was.
Well, but Bodhi immediately sticks up for
Yeah,
him.
Bodhi's got his back.
Again, though, I feel Bodhi is one of those things where, you keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
100%.
I think Bodhi just sizes him up from the very first second and wants to know more about who this guy is. And he's smelling. Something's fishy.
You think?
I don't think he's his buddy, but
There's
he's
a line
genuine.
he says later that we'll touch on that makes me agree with you.
I don't even know what that line is. We'll get to it, I guess, at some point. But I just me watching, I was felt uncomfortable because I'm like, Bodhi knows something here.
Well, I think both of what you were saying is like they're both alphas. And so I think Bodhi is in that he's also able to peer into people's souls and sort of manipulate them and to like get them to like kind of bend to his will, that he would do that to someone else that he feels like is on his equal playing field.
And
He's
there's
like,
a lot of fake love going on between both of them. So
Now we're cut to FBI headquarters.
back at the FBI ranch. Harp is absolutely manic. He's like livid. He's like,
We don't even know why.
no,
It's
no,
just cut to he's mid-rant.
he is livid and he is bothered in general by Johnny's very existence, and that's all we know about. I guess because he showed up at the office with a surfboard.
He's in both he and Pappas are like in beach bum kind of clothes, and he's like chewing him out. He's like, you've been doing this for 2 weeks, and you've given me squat. The ex-presidents have robbed 3 more banks or whatever. And then he's like, yes, the clothes bother me. Yes, this. He's like, and yes, you bother me.
I guess because
you can hear that scene, right?
Is it because he's like a classic G-man? Is it just because he's so by the book?
I don't know
He's
what his
just
problem is, 'cause-
fucking out of control.
Well, that's what he says. Does either one of you have anything even remotely interesting to tell me? What does Utah say?
Like I hit my first curl this morning or something like that.
Sir.
Sir.
And he's the thing is, Utah, when they're walking back out, Utah's like saying, what's he so mad about? Like, we're handling our caseload and I'm doing all the surfing stuff on my own time.
It's a good point.
But he doesn't like him carrying the surfboard around in the office.
We also see that long tracking shots are de rigueur in the
He is-
FBI office.
And Pappas is telling him, like, do you have to like rub his nose in it though? He's like, why do you got the surfboard? And he's like, well, it sticks out the window of my car. Like, I can't lock the car. It's
kind
pretty
of
great.
awesome.
In this scene, like John C. McGinley, though, chewing scenery, like again, he's incredible. It's got to be so much fun to play like the asshole, as opposed to just if you're playing like the guy in the forensics lab or whatever. Like, it's just fun to be a jerky guy sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I got to think so. It's funner than being like just the pure-hearted, good guy boss or whatever.
Yeah, there's nothing interesting about that.
just going off. I mean, you feel like a lot of that's unscripted. He probably just goes in a rant, right?
Yeah.
He makes it seem like it for sure.
But Utah's got a bright idea.
He
Right?
does.
They go to the forensics lab.
Johnny Utah, forensics evidence. So they have some results on the toxins that were found on a hair from one of the ex-presidents.
It shows how great the ex-presidents are, right? That they've been robbing banks for 3 years
pros.
and they've got one hair.
So Utah has a theory. He says that the beaches are always being closed for waste spills, which that begs the question for me, why are people in the water? Anyway.
The surfers don't care.
Yeah.
That's my
apparently.
theory is the surfers don't care there's a waste spill.
Surfers are territorial and they should be able to collect samples and find which beach has water with the same toxins as the one hair strand.
I like the theory. Do you think that territorial thing is like true? It's certainly not true for Bodhi,
I was
as we
going to say,
find
I
out.
don't think that Bodhi
But
goes.
maybe for most surfers.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think that's that whole go back to the valley, man. You can kind of feel like
Like
these
this is our
guys-
turf.
They are territorial.
Yeah.
No, Bodhi maybe not, but and you're right. The theory is great as far as the spills. The execution of that scene is a little maybe one of the few cheesy parts of the movie. Maybe the only
We
cheesy part
agree.
of the
We
movie.
all agree on this. We're going to sort of breeze past that. Like they go out to collect some hair samples and it's a little corny.
That's the only.
It's meant to be
corny,
funny.
Yeah.
But it's just a few minutes that we won't get back if we spend talking about it.
The buddy relationship through all this between Pappas and Utah is like getting better and better by the scene.
No, I think they've come to respect each other, Utah and Pappas.
Yeah.
But by the way, Pappas has probably not had so much fun on an assignment in years.
That's true.
He's like, he loves looking at these bikini babes or whatever, right? Totally. So the samples, like lo and behold, they get a match that leads them to Latigo Beach. That's when Utah gives like the title line of the movie. It's like, nice Point Break. It's like
long workable rides.
So our theory is, or John's theory that I've tagged along with, is anytime a character says the name of the movie in the movie, that's your permission to walk out if you want to.
You can get up and leave. Just leave.
No one's walking out on this movie because this movie's too fucking good.
Everyone's like, I'd stay and watch it twice.
Yeah. I wish they said Point Break more. Anyway, so they send Utah right to Latigo Beach. She's like going to scope it out and see if there's anyone there who seems like shady.
Who within mere moments runs afoul of some locals who are like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, some dude, he gets in Warchild's way. We don't know his name yet. And then Bunker.
And then he does it to a different guy.
Steals away from Bunker, and Bunker like sucker punches him.
That is that line, the Valley line.
Yeah, go back to the Valley man. Yeah. He like cuts his leash
Politeness
as well.
counts, asshole.
Dude, he takes his knife out, which you think maybe he's going to knife Utah.
Yeah.
And then he cuts his leash, which is like brutal though, because that kind of ends your day, I think, as a surfer. You're like, well, now I'll lose my board if I
you wipe out.
Yeah. Utah's like frustrated because he feels like they're not getting anywhere with this, which I mean, dude, these guys seem pretty likely at this point. But Pappas tells him like, nah, man, stick it out. You know, when you see these guys, you'll know it because they're like a group within the group.
Right. He loses sight of Utah, who's in the showers. And
showering up.
He sort of gets the water turned off on him.
We forgot about, Utah's just talking into a towel, which is pretty conspicuous. Like he's holding it up to his face and talking. You can see the antenna sticking out. He's not the best at undercover.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's awfully green.
I know, Sam, this is a scene that's near and dear to you because you say it in the office all the time that when the surfers surround him at the shower. You're just laughing.
No, I know, but you're still better at saying it.
I don't know. Which part?
Well, which part are you referring to?
Ketis? They get it right. They surround him and they're threatening him. And that's, whatever. He's like, Utah's like, this is the part where you guys like tell me about how the locals rule and I should stay away from your breaks or whatever. And then Anthony Kiedis, my guy, that's one of my all-time favorite bands, Chili Peppers. He's like, that would be a waste of time. Dude.
No,
he's well cast in this role though. He looks like just a surfer.
It's the role he was born to play.
I think it's the same year that Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out. So like Under the Bridge. I mean, you're talking about a better time to just cast this dude. Like
he is
perfect
hot at the moment. Yeah. I am such a Chili Peppers fan. I can't even tell you. So seeing him just doing anything is incredible to me. But the weird hair on all the dudes have sort of like goon hair, like punk hair.
Yeah. Including Vincent Klin playing Warchild, who is also the villain in Cyborg, which is a movie we're definitely going to do one day.
He looked familiar. The Van Damme flick?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks so familiar. And I can sort of see it when you said that.
Van Damme flick.
That's awesome.
On Canon Films also.
Utah, to his credit, man, he wants to fight all of them. He like just is ready to go, like all four of them. He's like, let's go then, right? Is that when he hits Warchild with the surfboard?
Yeah, he
snaps it in half.
Hits him in the midsection. Warchild breaks it, and they all start just like kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah, I love. And Pappas is sort of like he can't see anything, right? Because Utah's like hidden behind some bushes or whatever, and he's like, "You better not be trying to score any babes or whatever." He's like he's coming to help him out.
And this is like underdeveloped land that probably today is like all hotels and like nice.
That beach. I was looking at it on like Google Maps recently to see if you could recognize it, and if they were actually shooting there, it's unrecognizable to what it looks like today. Yeah,
that's a shame.
It's Malibu. I mean, it's like that's some prime fucking real estate. But Bodhi like materializes from nowhere. He's like just there, and he saves Utah's ass.
Yeah,
he's a ass kicker, man.
Yeah, he tells the guys that Utah's with him. The guys are like, this is not your fight. Get the fuck out of here. Everyone sort of mellows for a second before Utah picks the shit back up.
Those dudes like clearly they know who Bodhi is and they respect him. Bodhi's like the fucking king of the beach or whatever for the whole area. I think.
Is for sure.
But yeah, like you say, sort of Utah feigns like a peace offering. And then he sucker punches Bunker. He's like, well, I'm really glad we met. He's like, oh, yeah, why? And he just, bam, punches him in the face and it's back on again.
Yeah.
Oh, Beautiful scene.
No, it's a great scene.
Oh yeah.
The two of them are able to take out all four of the other guys. These guys are fighters, especially fucking Swayze,
Pete
man.
Swayze.
No, yes. I mean, and I think it's right after that is when they walk down the street and he invites him to his party.
Yes.
So that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's like,
Do we think, is Swayze like, was he known as a martial artist?
100%.
Like at this point?
Yeah.
Well, he had done
I know he'd done Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And he'd been like shown fighting prowess in other movies and stuff.
So the thing about Swayze is this was, I believe that it's Swayze that makes the movie, not Keanu Reeves.
Totally.
Yes.
But most people that are not huge fans, they probably recognize Keanu Reeves and be like, oh, it's Keanu, whatever, it's cheesy, he's not a great actor or whatever. But Patrick Swayze, like we just said, he's coming off of Ghost, right?
Yeah.
He's coming off of Roadhouse, classic, obviously.
Big blockbusters.
A huge blockbuster. He's one of the top actors in the world at the time. But controversially, I mean, his look is completely different at this time. I mean, he's a true badass. Before that, I mean, if you really look at the way his characters were in Ghost or Roadhouse, any of the other movies, he looked the same, right?
Always clean cut. Yeah.
Shorter hair.
Yeah.
Even back to Outsiders, like
Yeah.
Outsiders, Red Dawn, Dirty Dancing,
Exactly.
everything. He was
all
very
of a
like
sudden,
clean cut.
boom, comes this
Beard and,
movie.
like, shaggy hair.
This is like, and I imagine all of his like girl like fans were like, oh my god,
He's a bad
Patrick,
boy now.
He's a bad boy. I haven't seen him like this before.
Yeah.
And he's got the scruff look, like with the long kind of. Did you even think Patrick Swayze had curly hair before that movie? Like, oh my god, look at him, he's so dreamy. And of course,
I
just
buy it.
absolute badass.
For $1.
So he was always always a good guy in all his movies, whether it was an action movie, even in Roadhouse, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he
With a troubled
he beats some
past.
ass, yeah, but he's a nice guy. Ghost, whatever, etc. But you got this movie, he's a true badass for the first time, and basically the last time of his career, because his career kind of went downhill, his health, went downhill sadly.
R.I.P.
But this is his. If Patrick Swayze is a nice sunny day, this movie is a nice sunset.
I like
That's
that.
awesome.
I like that. We have a bonding moment of Zen surfing on the roadway here.
Yeah.
Where's Pappas at this point? Kind of just
Well,
trying to.
they pass
low?
him. They pass him as they're walking out. He runs down and he's.
You guys see a kid run through with a car stereo?
Quickly, he's like, you guys see a kid with car stereo? He stole it. And that's when Utah's like, nah, but there's some guys back there you should check out. And like that works because on one hand he's telling Pappas like, we want to watch these guys, but from Bodhi's perspective, he's like,
Johnny,
you like to stir up some shit, don't you? Like you're sending this guy to get his ass kicked by Warchild and them. That's fucking awesome.
We get some exposition. Bodhi explains to Johnny who those guys were. That he calls them like the Nazi assholes.
Yeah,
they only live to get radical. Is like I want to live to get radical.
He's like that big guy. That big guy's name is Warchild, aka Lupton Pittman. That's awesome.
What a handle.
Yeah, Lupton.
Lupton. He says that the guys don't have any real understanding of the spiritual side of surfing. And so then Johnny sort of teases Bodhi about spiritual talk. And Bodhi says that Johnny must not understand it, but that he can see that he's got like whatever it is inside
like
him.
The aura or whatever. Like he can see it. That's where you start to see that Bodhi is like a spiritual dude, Yeah.
There's something more to him.
And Utah is like starting to fall under a spell.
Yeah, totally. He invites him to a party and he says, where's your place? And he says, come with Tyler. So I like that Bodhi's playing matchmaker with Tyler and Johnny Utah.
But it's still a huge bromance between these two dudes. So
absolutely. Like he wants to know more about this guy, Utah. He's like, I think he's intrigued by Utah as Utah is by him.
So Pappas and Utah trail the Nazi assholes.
Oh yeah. So
by the way, that car scene's hilarious because
they're chasing them.
Well, when they're just driving around the road over like sidewalks
like
and
terrorizing people.
Movies. Yeah, Kiedis is like standing up, like
going crazy.
It is great.
So they call in the plates on the Jeep first because they're in a Jeep.
Right.
They get a rap sheet back for Bunker, the guy that decked Keanu while he was surfing.
The blonde guy.
And they follow them all to their like drug den and decide to stake it out for the night.
And they've got a history of like armed robbery and like drugs and this and that.
Yeah, they've got probable
these
cause.
guys like they're who we're looking for.
They could fit the description.
Exactly. So they're going to stake them out.
Yeah, they're going to stake out and they're going to wait for
a warrant.
Yeah, they're going to wait for a warrant to go in. And then towards the end of the night, as the night's wearing on, Babbitt and Alvarez show up to take over the late shift.
Wait, in your mind as a viewer, first time viewer, is there a chance that these are the guys? Like, are you thinking, well, these are probably the guys?
No.
Or are you like, this is like the red herring?
But again, your viewers in 91 aren't that experienced as far as like they haven't had like 30 years of incredible cinema. But you're like, it's 45
minutes into the movie. Like, this can't be.
Well, here's the other option. Here's the other option then. Is this going to be a longer, like slower burn with bad guys and like it presupposes that like Patrick Swayze and like Bodhi is going to help Johnny catch the bad guys?
It could be. I mean, but something about this War Child crew, like they seem a little too dumb. They just seem like they're not the guys who could be pulling off all these heists and getting away with it.
That's a good point.
Like they just seem like they're kind of mindless thugs. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know.
That would be a
waste of time. Oh, Kiedis. He's my dude. Then that's when, like you said, Alvarez and Babbitt show up and they're pissed about having to pull like the overnight watch on the stakeout. They're like, these fucking guys.
Well, Pappas gives them cold pizza.
Yeah, it's good for breakfast.
And as Pappas and Johnny like pull away, like Utah flips him off. He's like,
I never noticed that before. Just now, like when he sticks his arm out the window and flips him off when they're driving off. That's awesome.
Like,
they really hate each other, those guys. It reminds me of Axel Foley, and they had Taggart and Rosewood, and then the other guys, the banana and the tailpipe guys. You need those guys. You need like some antagonist for them to deal with until it comes time to deal with the big antagonist.
So there's a rager at Bodhi's house, you guys.
Oh, this is Sam's favorite scene in the movie.
Is that a party you want to go to?
Oh, house party is one of my favorite. Yeah, I mean,
it's wild.
Probably the quintessential party on the beach in that time in California. Like, what's not to like?
You get the dude, one of his crew, who we don't know his name yet, but Gromit is doing a thing, and then there's that dude with like the shirt or towel like tied around his head who's just freaking the fuck out.
So yeah, you got your druggies, you got your spiritualists, you have your all types of alcohol, I'm sure, all types of drugs you want. You have
listening to Jimi Hendrix.
The music's great. You got the ambiance, like the lighting's perfect. It's decorated beautifully. And of course we're kind of jumping a second, but there's surfboards hanging on the wall. I mean, it's perfect, and it's literally a walk to the beach.
It's an incredible scene.
I want to be part of that party.
I do too.
Does it seem like Utah shows up with Tyler as planned, but Tyler seemed to get a little jealous, like when Bodhi was with that other woman. I just thought that was like, she's a little possessive of him.
Provocative.
Taking the sexy tequila shot.
Yes, exactly.
It was like, and she's like, I taught him that trick. And she's like, I like it.
Yeah.
It was pretty great.
Yeah,
but yeah, she seemed like she's like still carries a flame for Bodhi maybe on some level.
Well, what I like is that these guys are party until like the switch flips. It's almost like clockwork. Like, okay, we got to go surf.
It's like fucking over the top. It's like a machine,
like a truck.
Like truck. we have to go. We have to go surf. Exactly.
Yeah. When they realize the surf's up, then it's time.
Wait, we got 100 people here. I don't care. It's the middle of the night. I don't care. Like, let's get the fire going and let's just get out of it.
Yeah, so they're outside debating the merits of big wave surfing.
Yes. This is a great scene.
This is the core group is outside.
Oh, you're right. So they did that before. They did.
It was just before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Tyler says big wave surfing's for macho idiots. Roach says that nothing is better, not even sex.
I love Tyler's comeback. She's like, maybe you're not doing it right, Roach. That's a sick burn.
So if you're a viewer, you know at that point that's them, right?
Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, I think you gotta feel like this is our guys. If you honestly, if you go back to the first ex-president's robbery scene, the voice of Reagan is Swayze's voice. It's not anyone else's.
So you know that.
If you were paying close attention, like so you're one step ahead of where Johnny's at, but it doesn't take anything away from it. And if anything, it sort of builds the suspense.
Exactly.
After the discussion of locations for biggest wave, and they start to get into the discussion of, going to do the winter storm, riding the big wave.
Bodhi says biggest wave, Bells Beach, Australia.
And they're talking about that to do that is like the ultimate goal. That's it.
So they named a few, and then he named Bells Beach.
And then he says, nah, bigger than any of those is going to be next year in Australia at Bells Beach. And he's telling him a story like, yeah, it's the 50-year storm, and like for the ultimate ride or whatever, the ultimate rush, you got to be willing to pay the ultimate price.
Yep.
Because it does seem like he makes it sound like it's basically a death wish, like to go out there.
It's not tragic to die doing what you love. And then the guys are like, that's how I want to go. The other, Gromit says, I'm not going to live to see 30, which I used to say that all the time.
So is the party seamlessly like shifted to the beach?
That's a good bit of storytelling because it tells about the characters, but it also lays out something that you can expect to maybe hear about again later in the film.
Right.
Like the whole, like next summer at Bell's Beach, like we're going to be there.
But they also reveal who they really are and what their aspirations are during that chat, right?
Yeah.
Some guys are like, I'm about party.
They're looking for the ultimate rush.
Yeah, but I mean, they're different though.
Yeah.
So Swayze's the ultimate, like, I want this, the biggest surf ever. Some other guys like, I'm not going to live till I'm 30, he's maybe more of a party goer. Everybody shows their cards in that moment.
And Tyler seems like she's fed up with the talk. Like she gets up and just walks away, and Utah follows her. And that's when they go to like Bodhi's sort of surf shrine, where he's got the surfboards up on the wall, and like there's all these pictures of him on waves and like rock climbing and skydiving and all that stuff.
Surf shrine is nice. A nice way to put it.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
How do you picture that house? I'm just curious.
It's going to be like, is it a Malibu beach house? Yeah, so, it's like at least 3 floors.
So top floor where you sleep, middle floor where the party is, bottom
and then the
floor,
basement's where all the surfboards
surfboards into the beach, right?
Is all of that funded through
bank
ex-president money?
Yeah, that's why you got to know, like, this money's coming from somewhere. Like, this lifestyle's not cheap, and these guys don't really seem to work.
Unless it was inherited from his family. His whole family's been surfing. Basically, his dad, grandfather, whatever.
His dad invented surfing.
Basically.
He invented the surfboard.
So he owns this house. He just never really did much.
His real name is Buddy Surf. Surfheimer.
But, dude, in that shrine, there's like this is a thing that gets me in movies every time I see it. Like, there's so many candles burning.
Oh, I was about to say
100 candles. Yes. It's like, who lights all these candles?
Bodhi. Has to have been Bodhi.
No, he has a road to do it.
No, Bodhi probably he thinks that even the process of lighting candles is spiritual.
No one takes the time to do that. Nobody lights that many candles.
You do in 91, there's no internet. What else are you going to do,
He's not on Facebook. He has lots of time.
It's absolutely true. Okay, fine, fuck it. I'm with you guys, 100%.
Yeah, Tyler tells Johnny that she's afraid that he might be falling under Bodhi's spell. And Bodhi there's like maybe overhearing that, and he's like, no, Johnny's got his own demons. So we see Bodhi peering into Johnny's soul again.
That is deep. And that's the line I was thinking about that maybe says he can peer into Johnny's soul and see there's something more to him.
And then he says
that he's keeping a secret from
but I think he's also, he's saying that because he wants to find out more. He can't put his finger on it, but he knows there's something going on there. He's probably still wondering why this guy keeps coming back and hanging around him. Like there's a mutual interest there, and he knows that Johnny wants something from him, and he's not sure what it is.
But basically, Bodhi's like, come with us. We're going on a stealth mission, a little night surfing. Grab one of my boards. So they do. Both he and Tyler are going to go with.
Would you go night surfing? I would if Bodhi asked me to.
Absolutely.
I think even if you were not a FBI agent and you were just hanging out with a bunch of dudes in California at the time, you'd do it.
He is nervous. He's nervous. He's like, I can barely do this in the daylight.
Get drowned.
But Bodhi like coaches him up. Once they're out there, he's like, you just accept the wave's energy and you go with it. You don't need to be able to see.
I also imagine it's probably brighter at that night than it is on film because if you have the moonlight, sometimes you're in the middle of the night but the moon's out, you can see. You're like,
you can see really well.
I can see really well.
I think this film or this section of the film was shot like day for night. It was shot in the daytime.
Yeah,
and they put the.
You know what movie? One of the first oldest movies I've ever seen do that was Dr. No.
Yeah,
1962. Yeah,
and it's like. This, for that process, like, looks really good. You look at the Dr. No and you can see the sun in the sky. And you can tell. But this one is a good job. It sells it, the whole day for night process.
Also worth mentioning that Crazy Rosie is on the beach playing with fire.
Yes.
He's not a surfer, we take it. Played by Lee Turgison.
I love him. Yeah, he's playing from Oz.
Yeah.
I remember him always as Chet from the Weird Science television show on USA. But yeah, he's like just a working actor.
Yep.
He was right around the same time he was in Wayne's World. He was like one of the crew. of the show.
Oh, that's right. He's the one that's like, I love you, man.
Yeah. He had the same hairstyle. He had the same look.
Yeah.
That was probably real hair on him.
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
Good call.
Yeah.
Anyway, the scene looks amazing, as we all can agree. It looks awesome. The close-ups in the dark with the water, it looks crazy.
I love the bit where Tyler's like sort of hits the nail on the head, where they're out there on the waves floating, and she's like, look at you, you look happy. Like usually you look like you're doing all this for some other like a project at school.
Is that the moment he turned?
I think he's fallen under Bodhi's spell.
Yeah.
Like he might be in love with Tyler, but like he's falling also in love with Bodhi.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
100%.
So like he's meant to be around these people, and he just found his true calling.
But also I think it shows that Tyler and Utah have a connection. Like she can peer into his soul as well. Like she can tell sometimes you're all the way here, sometimes you're not all the way here. It sells the romance angle as well as like ups the stakes of his like.
Yeah, that she's invested in knowing more about him and knowing who he is.
And then they hook up on the beach.
Beach sex.
That's pretty.
What about it?
Pretty romantic.
Sandy.
I mean, in real life, it's probably like not practical, but it's so romantic,
But then they kind of wake up on the beach, and you have the smoke still going right from the fireplace.
They shut that party down. All the other guys had like left at that time. They're like, "Oh, leave the fire for them," like they're still.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's they were
just so out of the water
scene.
when they got done surfing.
It's pretty awesome. I like for a movie like this, you're like you want. It's the beach fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm 100% on board with it.
I'm on board with it too.
I think there was like no sand in anybody's nooks and crannies in this type of movie.
100% abrasion free.
So yeah, that is that winds down this chapter.
Gosh,
of the movie.
How did we get here so quickly?
Yeah, we're cruising, guys.
Yeah, we are.
I love it. There's a lot more to talk about. Like the stakes are about to be raised.
It's all fun and games right now.
Someone's about to get hurt.
Yep.
I hope you'll be back with us next week, Sam. I hope you'll be back with us because we're going all in on Point Break. This is the shit.
It is.
Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. We'll be back.